video. Hope everyone is doing well. Now, this week's video topic is a nice big juicy one because I get so many questions on this topic about coming off the pill, things to consider when you're coming off the pill, how to prevent, anything negative like symptom wise and like a big flare coming off the pill, all of these types of things. So I thought let's condense that and give you basically my guide in terms of like the key top things that I would consider and really focus on from a health perspective. Definitely before you transition off, if you haven't come off the pill yet, you really want to do these things for a good 3 months before you come off. If you are watching this video and you've already transitioned off and your body's kind of freaking out a little bit and you're kind of searching for help, then these things will still help you, definitely. But yeah, if you haven't come off yet and you're thinking about it, I really recommend you do these things for a good 3 months, okay, before you transition off. Now, just to shed some light of why you might hear some of those horror stories about, people coming off the pill and like, I don't know, their acne's gone like really crazy again, or like their hormones and PMS has gone wild. The thing you want to think about when you're coming off the pill is that the fact that the pill as a medication really can impact a lot of things within our health system. And if you've definitely been on that for a really long amount of time, when you come off specifically cold turkey and these systems have not been replenished and supported, when you come off, essentially your body is in a much weaker place. There's going to be vitamins and minerals you're going to be depleted of, which actually, funny enough, are like some of the key ones for hormone regulation, so that's already working against you. But also some of the key organs and functions of the body are also hindered by the pill. So when you come off and your body's really trying its best to rebalance it out, it's already struggling basically, and that is why people then start seeing all the negative symptoms come up, because the body just isn't working very well basically. Believe me, I feel your frustration if you're also feeling really frustrated that you weren't warned about these things, told about it when you went on the medication. I totally feel you, trust me. I wish there was better education around the pill, but hopefully my video today is going to be that little bit of a helping hand for you and can really help you hopefully in your journey. Okay, so number one, let's actually just kick it off with the deficiencies that we can see when we are on the pill. So the pill actually can deplete our absorption of certain vitamins and minerals. So these include magnesium, selenium and zinc as your minerals, and then we've got vitamins like vitamin C, vitamin E and many B vitamins such as B6, B2, B9 which is folate. Oh, and also B12, nearly forgot that one there. But when you are definitely on the pill, I would actually consider this. It might be something that you want to consider with some light supplementation alongside, but definitely when you are gearing up to come off the pill, you really want to be thinking about these vitamins and minerals and make sure you are replenishing your stores. Some of these vitamins and minerals, if not all of them, are so important from a hormonal perspective, especially things like magnesium, B6, zinc, and also selenium when we start thinking about our thyroid health as well. So really, like when you're on the pill and you're coming off, like the pill has kind of set you up for failure in that sense, because a lot of people come off and they're actually so depleted in the vitamins and minerals that are needed to get that natural healthy hormone function back. Some of these you can actually focus through food, like for example vitamin E is a really easy vitamin that you can get through food sources. Also same with vitamin C as well, again you can just ramp up those vitamin rich foods, but I would definitely consider with some of the others, particularly magnesium and zinc for sure, like those mineral statuses for those two are really important. And when it comes to things like B12, you could definitely maybe visit your GP and just see if you can get like an updated test on that, just to see where your stores are, because also there is that side of you don't want to then be over supplementing things that you don't need, and B12 is one of our vitamins which does store in the body, so you definitely want to make sure if you are going to supplement with it that you actually need it. So that one I would maybe just double check on. Okay, the next thing you want to start thinking about is definitely opening up your drainage pathways, okay? So your drainage pathways are basically all your detox pathways, so that's going to be your liver, your gut, kidneys, skin, lymph, all of these you want to be thinking about, because basically when you come off the pill, if you've been on that medication definitely for a long amount of time, your body is going to be swimming with those synthetic hormones, and when you come off, your body is then going to want to try and get rid of it all as it tries to regain your natural hormone function back, okay? So we really want to make sure that our detoxification systems are really working optimally. Now the very first starting point with this is to make sure your bowel is moving, okay? your bowel movements play a really big role with your hormone regulation, particularly estrogen. And depending on the pill that you are on, you know, we want to be clearing all that synthetic estrogen definitely out of the body. And of course, your body's then going to start kicking your natural estrogen into production as well. So if there is constipation happening and that exit pathway is not moving optimally, your body can then start to reabsorb, and then what starts to happen, we start to get too much estrogen going into circulation, and there we go, that kind of triggers hormonal symptoms and the whole negative side to start playing out. So really making sure your bowels are moving really optimally and fluidly is so important for hormone health. One of the big players for our detoxification is definitely our liver. Now definitely this is a huge topic when coming off the pill, so this actually I'm kind of putting as a separate point, is really focusing on liver health. Now when you are on the pill, firstly our liver has to metabolize our pill. It metabolizes any medications that we're on, and so definitely if you've been on that for a prolonged amount of time, we want to be thinking, okay, has there been a prolonged amount of time of burden on the liver? When it comes to liver, I mean, it's an organ which has so many different jobs to do, over 500, okay? So literally all these little points of burden can start to put weight on it, slow it down, and then over time it can become a little bit more stagnant. Now the reason why the liver is such a big focus when you are transitioning off the pill and after coming off is that this is an organ like definitely that has a lot of demand on it, okay? So yes, when you come off the pill, your liver is going to be trying to detox all those synthetic hormones out, but your liver also is the hub for hormone balance of your natural hormones. It plays a really big role in that. Also, when we go like later on to other topics like your blood sugar regulation, even thyroid hormones, you know, our certain thyroid hormones convert in our liver. Our liver health is so pivotal really for the outcome of our health and the symptoms that we're experiencing, but it is something that gets such a weight put on it when we are on the pill, and definitely when you transition off. So liver health support is something you really want to be thinking about. When you are thinking about supporting these pathways, the gut must come first in the sense of like a bowel movement perspective. Do not, okay, I repeat, do not start shoving loads of liver supporting herbs and detox supporting herbs into your body if you are constipated, because what will end up happening is you end up triggering a lot of detox, but it's not getting out, okay? So if that happens, then you're gonna start experiencing other symptoms in other areas and just really overall just not feeling great. You wanna make sure that when you do start putting that liver support in, that you detox, but it's all clearing properly. That is really important. So definitely work on the gut first and then do the liver. This is why I must say, like, you know, if it's an option to work with a practitioner, this is where it becomes helpful, because they can really guide you on that and make sure you're doing all of this really safely and also the most effectively as well. I do have a video on supporting liver function, so I'll leave that listed down below because I don't have time to go through all of that today. But also remember, actually, I need to make this point, it's not just about focusing on getting the functioning of the liver better. You also want to be thinking of, hang on a minute, what's the burden on the liver? So yes, we're taking the pill out of the question, so that was a big burden on the liver, but also pay attention, have I got other burdens on the liver, like in my lifestyle? You know, are you drinking alcohol, for example, frequently? A lot of caffeine? Are you having, I don't know, like the quality of the food that you're eating? Like think about your toxin and chemical exposure. Everything from that perspective gets detoxified through the liver. So also think about your burden load. It's about lightening the load and also working on the function, okay? Okay, the next thing, let's just touch back on the gut. So this is coming from a little bit of a different angle now. So my next point is definitely nurture your gut, and what I'm meaning by this is looking into your microbiome. So this is another thing that we've actually seen from the effects of the pill, is it can actually alter bacteria within our microbiome. So that's actually something really commonly I also see in practice, is that I do notice a lot of gut symptoms come up on post-pill clients, and they do see alterations there. So you might want to think about pre and probiotic rich foods, maybe even potentially a supplementation. I will just say, on a supplementation point of view, if you are blindly supplementing, so that means you are not getting like a microbiome test and know exactly what bacteria levels, you know, you are low on and what you need, I'd maybe focus more on the prebiotic side. So prebiotics feed the bacteria and help like grow and flourish it back to health, whereas probiotics add the strains in. Now the reason I'm saying this is because if if you've done a test and you know exactly what levels are low, then you can pick the right probiotic to replenish those levels. Something I do see in some clients' gut test results is that actually some of those common bacteria strains that you would just get in a regular probiotic, that client actually might be really high on, and actually them taking that probiotic is not the right fit for them. They're low on other things. So that's where it's definitely, like, from a probiotic perspective, not a one thing fits all. Like, it's a very intricate environment, the microbiome. So yeah, if you are blindly kind of just wanting to get supported, I'd maybe lean more on the prebiotic side, okay? But it's definitely something to consider. And if you are getting a lot of digestive upset, digestive symptoms, then maybe doing one of these comprehensive gut tests actually might be a really good route for you, because that would really also uncover more from a root cause perspective. If you are ever interested in doing testing, then just send me an email and I'm happy to help you on that side. Okay, so the next thing that I would definitely put a huge focus on is blood sugar management, a topic which I love to talk about because it is so relevant literally for every single person on this planet. But definitely when we're talking anything hormonal, blood sugar management is like one of the absolute bases, okay? And something you want to consider as well when you're coming off of the pill. Now, the reason why some people get acne and like their skin kind of freaks out is because initially when you come off the pill, you tend to get a bit of a testosterone surge. So we want to be mindful of that. So not only do we want to be thinking about, from a hormone perspective, you know, clearing the testosterone, helping the balance, and that's actually where things like zinc, for example, one of the minerals we tend to be deficient in when we come off the pill, comes into play, because zinc helps to bind and clear testosterone. But overall, we want to be thinking that, okay, we are going to be a bit more sensitive to this in this time. And the place that blood sugar management comes in is because this and like testosterone have a really direct link, okay? So poor blood glucose control, if your insulin is like being overproduced, you're having crazy big spikes and you're just on a bit of a roller coaster from a blood glucose point of view, that can really directly impact your ovarian function. So that already is something we don't want, because obviously when you're coming off the pill, you're going to be wanting to get your natural hormone, rhythm back into place and get your ovulation going, so you get your cycles happening again. We don't want to be hindering ovarian function, we want to be supporting it. So that's definitely number one. And then by impacting the ovaries, that is also what then can trigger the release of more testosterone. So it is definitely something you don't want to ignore. It is such a key pillar of hormone health in general, because the other thing as well, when we say hormones, so hormones are chemical messengers, okay? So their job is basically to send messages around the body, tell things what to do, okay? And when we say hormones, like, yes, we have our sex hormones, but don't just think, oh, it's just my sex hormones that are involved in my hormone regulation when I'm coming off the pill. Definitely not. You also want to be thinking about cortisol, your stress hormone. You want to be thinking about insulin, which is to do with our blood sugars. That's a hormone. We want to be thinking about thyroid hormones, even like your nervous system. You know, I mean, obviously we've touched on cortisol being a stress hormone, but yeah, all of those hormones, all of these things are connected, okay? And it's a really delicate network. And blood sugar management, so if your spikes are going up and down all day, you actually need cortisol that actually kicks in to help kind of bring, like, for example, if you dip too low after a spike, your cortisol will come into action to bring it back up. So keeping those blood sugars in a really managed range is so pivotal. I can't express it enough from a hormone perspective. And definitely if acne is a concern, it's always such a key pillar I work on with anyone who is having any concern with acne. After I film this video, I'm actually filming a video on my top tips for blood sugar management. So subscribe if you aren't already, and stay tuned because that video will be coming next week. Okay, the next thing you need to focus on, which we need to touch on, is definitely your diet, of course. So definitely from a testosterone perspective as well, like, as I said, you want to be a bit more mindful, that could be a bit more sensitive. So you definitely don't want to be having a diet which is rich in like the processed food, sugars, and all the things that love to aggravate testosterone and increase it higher, okay? So we want to be thinking a whole food diet. We want to be thinking variety to nurture the gut. We want to be thinking, you know, getting that good variety of vegetables as well, like those cruciferous vegetables to support the liver, you know, anti-inflammatory foods within the diet, things like the dark greens, maybe even the turmeric magnesium. It's also great for the liver as well. Ginger, herbs. I love using a lot of herbs in my cooking. They are so nutrient dense. Really good tip actually is parsley. I said about vitamin C earlier. Parsley is a really good source of vitamin C, so using that in your cooking. Reducing things that could put burden on the liver, like the caffeines, the alcohols, etc. And yeah, just in general, we're really trying to focus on a whole food diet, lots of, you know, plant foods. Also making sure you're getting good serving of protein with each meal. That's definitely a blood sugar tip, definitely. But yeah, keeping that protein up because that's also very important for our hormones. Breakfast is a really important one actually for hormones. Really making sure that you're starting your day on a really stabilizing breakfast. You know, good serving of protein in there, and well balanced on the plate. Look down that plate, make sure macronutrients are, you know, yeah, in balance, and you're not just starting your day on like a real carb heavy meal. That's really important. And also actually making sure you're not restricted. This is another really good point, particularly when, you know, people start to get symptoms. I think definitely from a blood glucose point of view, sometimes I commonly come into play with a lot of people who fear carbs, because obviously carbs break down to glucose, and that's obviously what affects our blood sugars. But I do really need to stress, and I'll talk about this in the blood glucose video, is that carbs are definitely not the enemy. They're not something to fear. Yes, blood glucose respond to them, but what that is actually about is just learning how to best eat your carbs, pair them up, and like the tips and tricks around that. Carbs are fantastic, and actually from a hormone perspective, getting your cycle back, like we need carbs to ovulate. So you definitely also don't want to be going down restrictive routes with your diet either. Like I'm very much all for like a non-restrictive diet, all about just balance and moderation with things. So yeah, that's also a really valid point actually to throw in at the end here as well. Such a delayed tip actually, and this is actually for any of you guys who are still watching, you get this benefit of this tip, but actually just circling right the way back to the beginning about you know, supporting drainage pathways. Another fantastic practice to consider is also doing castor oil packs. They're amazing. So that's a way that you can support your liver health, but that, you know, you're not taking a supplement, it's not doing anything internally. This is working transdermally with castor oil through the skin. So definitely search castor oil liver packs. I'll put some links in the description box for you to check out. But that is such a great way to support your liver detoxification, like your estrogen clearance. So yeah, really recommend those. And also think about things from a lymphatic point of view, like sweating. Oh, I absolutely love going to like a sauna and getting a good sweat on, really stimulating that detox through the skin, and that also helps, you know, support your lymphatic system and also your liver as well. So yeah, think about like these other lifestyle practices, like definitely from a lymph point of view, like dry brushing. Like these are all additional extras, but you know, there's lots to explore when it comes to like supporting and like opening up those drainage pathways. So let's just quickly just do a recap, because I feel like there's been a lot of information and it might have been a little bit here, there and everywhere. So let's just recap quickly. So if you would like to meet Ebony, I'm really thinking about coming off the pill, and you know, just succinct in a couple of steps, what are the things I need to work on and focus on? These are them. So it is correct nutrient deficiencies, it is open up the drainage pathways and make sure that you're not blocked up anywhere. Following on from that is support your liver, okay, and make sure that detoxification is happening well through the liver and it's being supported. Next thing would be nurture the gut. So not only, you know, working on getting those bowel movements working optimally, and that kind of falls in the drainage side, but also think about the microbiome and, you know, nourishing the bacteria in the microbiome through maybe like prebiotics, for example. We've got number 5, which is balance those blood sugar levels. So key. And then we've got number 6, which is making sure you're focusing on a good, well-balanced, nourishing diet, which is going to be supporting all your nutrient needs. Just a few little extra tips at the end here. If anyone is considering doing, let's say, a Dutch test, I know that is something that many people when they're, you know, looking into the hormone field have already come across. I would actually say to you, hold off definitely until you're at least 3 months post off the pill. Do not ever do a Dutch test when you're on the pill. That is a complete waste of money. And also don't do it too soon after coming off the pill. I know a lot of people are very eager to see what their hormones are doing, but you're gonna still be detoxing like those synthetic hormones out, and they can still alter the results. So you definitely want to give it a good amount of time before you consider something like that. I would even say like more towards the 6-month mark personally, but yeah, 3 months is the absolute minimum. Also remember that although hormones may perceive to be like the root cause in this concern, they aren't actually necessarily root cause, because something else is causing your hormones to be off. Like for example, poor liver function or poor gut health, and so on. So sometimes actually the Dutch test might not be the right test for you. So that's where I would also recommend maybe getting a bit of guidance on what is best for you, because these things are investments. I feel like there was a lot of information in this video, and trust me, there is so much more to go into, but I have to keep these things succinct. I'm just kind of briefly giving the outline. But yeah, if you are in this phase of your journey and you would like some help, feel free to reach out and we can dive so much deeper together and really support you transitioning off the pill. Anyway guys, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, then make sure you subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you guys next Sunday in my next video. Mwah. Bye.